put your hands together for Chude. Media team, are we ready for the introduction? Or else I should use my 25 minutes to introduce Chude.
Tagged the golden boy of African media, Chude Jidonwo is a media entrepreneur whose 25-year career spans advertising, public relations, television, radio, print, and digital media. As co-founder and CEO of Red for Africa, he has crafted and led strategies that fueled social movements and shaped national elections across Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Sierra Leone, and Senegal. Under his leadership, Red was honored as Africa Business of the Year alongside Dangote Group and Chanderia Industries. In 2016, after a decade at Red, Chude sensed a calling to a new mission. With no prospect of revenue or recognition, he stepped away from his role to focus on storytelling that uplifts the mind, heart, and spirit, and founded Joy Inc., a human flourishing company that has partnered with organizations like Ford Motor Company and the Lagos State government to create safe, nurturing spaces for mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. In 2020, he also launched With Chude, a viral podcast featuring conversations with African leaders and celebrities, which has been called the most watched talk show across Africa. Syndicated across 5 regional networks and hosted exclusively on the streaming platform withchude.com, the podcast has become a hub for exploring deeply personal stories about healing, resilience, and growth. He has taught media and communication to undergraduate students at Pan Atlantic University. He has also advised global corporations and non-profits, including Meta, Google, the Gates Foundation, the African Union, and the governments of the UK and the US on media strategy, democracy, and human rights. Chude has been a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree, CNBC Young Business Leader of the Year, an Archbishop Desmond Tutu Fellow, and a World Fellow at Yale University. He has served on boards that include Microsoft for Africa, the Oando Foundation, and the Initiative for Equal Rights, where he is the current chair. As a filmmaker, his documentaries have been honored for Best Documentary at the Africa International Film Festival and Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Awards. In 2024, he was appointed Creative in Residence at the London School of Economics. His writing and work have been featured in the New York Times, The Guardian, BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, The Huffington Post, and The Financial Times. He is the author of 2 books, Are We the Turning Point Generation? And How to Win Elections in Africa, Parallels with Donald Trump. His forthcoming book, How Depression Saved My Life, will be published by Narrative Landscape in August of 2025. Tagged the golden boy of African media.
Okay, please put your hands together for the golden boy of media in Africa, the one and only Chude. Please, you can be on your feet. You can be on your feet to recognize our keynote speaker today. Come on. Now put your hands together for Chude one more time. Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Please have your seat. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Good to see Jay, the hottest MC on the continent at the moment. My people, good morning. Right, it's lovely to see you. We don't have a lot of time, so I will get right into it. This year, I am celebrating 25 years of working in the media. Thank you. I turned 40 this year. So that means I started my career at the age of 15 with just my WAEC and NECO certificates. Before I even entered university, I already had a job. At 15, I was already working. At 16, I was already working at the Nigeria Television Authority, NTA. I already had this stubborn sense that I could take charge of my own destiny, that I didn't have to wait for anyone to allow me. But here's the irony. Even though I was aware, even though I was an outlier, I didn't believe myself. I doubted myself. I began to gaslight my own vision and my own ambition. You have to understand how different the country and the world were when my career started, which is why you must never play with democracy, capitalism, and technology. Understand that when I started my career, there were less than 10 TV stations in the whole of Nigeria that I could work in. And now there are over 500 TV stations locally. When I started my career, there was nothing like fintechs that were able to run a billion-dollar finance business based solely on technology. And yet now, none of you even know where Paystack or PiggyVest's office is. So 25 years ago, when the industry was so much smaller and everybody depended on a very small group of people to succeed, it was easy for me to doubt that the vision I had for my career was truly possible, using the new digital tools that were just emerging. So I started a blog that became popular. But I still wanted to follow the proper path. I was a freelance interviewer and could have made it into a powerful brand, but I still wanted a formal career the way I had seen it in the media when I was growing up. I wanted to be on NTA 2 Channel 5. I wanted my work to be on Ovation magazine. I wanted the validation of sponsors, executives, and the old systems. Meanwhile, my peers and my friends like Linda Ikeji and Uche Pedro of Bella, Niger, they understood the moment better than I did. They were not waiting for permission. They were not explaining themselves to the gatekeepers. They just went ahead and created their own platforms. Over the years, I have made up for lost time by building my own powerful platforms, but it took more time than it needed to take. I shouldn't have doubted what my eyes were seeing and the historic moment that I was inside of. So, I don't want you to make that same mistake. I don't want you to slow down. I want you to recognize the acceleration of opportunity that you are fortunate to be in the center of today. Because what is happening right now in this generation, in this Lagos, in this continent, and in the world is truly historic. And I want you to own it. Let me tell you how exactly my career started at 15. I wrote a novel at the age of 14, and at the age of 15, my first book was published. My publisher didn't know how to do proper marketing, but I knew because I grew up on TV. And to make it happen, but to make that vision happen, I needed the gatekeepers. I needed to get the book on TV and radio, newspapers, and magazines. So what did I do? I had to begin to walk into TV stations and radio stations and battle and struggle and sometimes lie to gatesmen about appointments I didn't have in order to meet the producers and the editors and the presenters and to show them a copy of my book. Two of them, after they had me on, took a chance on me and offered me a job. But today, the difference is that I wouldn't need to walk into a radio station. Like many influencers, like many content creators, like many small businesses, I would put up content about my book online. I would tag people, I would create shareable content from and about the book. I would tag the people who are interested in what I am doing. Today, the game will be completely different. Just by getting the attention of those who matter online without spending my money or precious time, I can get attention in a costless way in what we now call the attention economy. I could even go viral without knowing anybody. Just the same way the influencer Enioluwa Adeoluwa got a job offer in my company in 2019 just because I saw a viral tweet that he had made saying, I have a first class, I am looking for work in these sectors, please retweet, my helper may be on your timeline. Because he was a young man who understood one crucial truth when he was only 20, that the world of work has changed forever. My dear young people, it has completely changed. Even from how it was just 5 years ago. AI, remote work, digital platforms, global recruitment. Industries are being disrupted: tech, the creative economy, agriculture, health, media, finance. Artificial intelligence can now do in 30 seconds what we spent 4 years studying. Remote work means that your competitor may be in Nairobi or Toronto or somewhere in Ibadan wearing boxers and a singlet. The jobs you were raised to chase are disappearing, but new ones, new limitless ones, are emerging. Entire industries and jobs have been created that didn't even meaningfully exist in this country 10 or 5 years ago. Podcaster, YouTuber, TikToker, streamer, short-form video producer, analytics and insights manager, crypto investor, cloud engineer, fintech compliance specialist, blockchain Web3 developer, cybersecurity analyst, product marketer, customer success manager, YouTube subtitle translator, NFT artist, thumbnail designer, personal content creator. When my show started in 2020, it was the first podcast in the country that started to go viral constantly. And this was barely 5 years ago. Things have changed so much that the people who were saying readers are leaders are now finally wrong. Podcast listeners are leaders. YouTube long-form consumers are leaders. Things have completely changed. For a long time, you've been told, work hard, follow the rules, be patient, wait for your turn. But this generation is living through a revolution that destroys that advice completely. Even overnight successes are now a thing. I have seen many overnight successes over the past few years. This is why in 20 years of running a business, I have never hired a person based on whether they went to university or not. And that is why I just launched a personal investment fund for creators. You can apply on fourthmainland.com, and it doesn't matter to me what their age, location, or qualification is. The global digital economy, and with it the creator economy, has broken down the gates and scattered the table. It has destroyed the idea that there is only one path to success. Because whether you are a teacher, a lawyer, a chemist, a fraud analyst, or a comedian, you can create value for yourself doing the thing you actually love. Whether in a company working for others, or outside a company working for yourself. For the first time in human history, the system is completely optimized to favor the individual voice, the individual brand, to favor you. Now a young woman in Enugu is making $20,000 a month from her art on Etsy. A skit maker in Ogbomoso earns in dollars from YouTube. A fashion designer in Kano is selling to customers in New York without a visa, without an agent, without a middleman. A data analyst in Calabar can get a job paying in dollars in Manchester without a CV and without leaving her house. That's not just hype. That's a structural transformation of the global economy. And you are standing, or in your case, sitting, right in the middle of it. It is important for you to understand this deep within your soul. This is not the economy of your father. This is not the workplace of your mother. This is not the structure that your uncles or aunties had, not even your role models. You are living in a time of the most seismic change in human history, where technology, artificial intelligence, and the breakdown of typical gatekeeping has led to a massive unleashing of opportunity. You don't see it very clearly because you were born into this era. But please, do not miss it because you are inside of it. Do not be like the fish that doesn't know what water is, because the fish was born in water. Understand that the old rules are gone, that power has changed hands, and begin to locate your reality practically in the reality that exists today, not what you used to respect in the past. In the past, gatekeepers built gates. They made rules for entry. They demanded permission slips. They told us who was ready, who was serious, who was too loud, whose wahala was too much, and who was too small. But today, the gatekeepers don't own the gates anymore. The internet does. So if there's one thing I want you to take from me today, it is this: overtaking is now allowed. You do not need permission to build the career, the business, or the brand that you have the capacity to build. You don't need me or anyone else to validate your dream. If you wait for permission, you might wait forever and for no good reason. Yes, they may call you arrogant. You will be called presumptuous. But that is what they call people who realize the power they already have inside of them. Overtaking is not disrespect. Overtaking is vision. Moving faster than those still arguing at the toll gates. Overtaking means taking control of your destiny, irrespective of what gatekeepers might think or want from you. If those gatekeepers had their way, we would not have Afrobeats. We would not have Nollywood. We would not have influencers, creators, or startups building billion-dollar companies from one laptop and a phone. They said, this can't work. And then it worked spectacularly. That is the power of not waiting for permission. I will now give you 4 practical steps for you to take to make this work for you. Call it a guide to building your career or your business in this new world. A, and this is a long one, know yourself. Power starts with self-awareness. Don't just ask what jobs are available. Ask what problems are available to solve. As I write in my book that just came out this week, How Depression Saved My Life, what am I supposed to do to find a career that makes me happy is not the right first question. The right first question is, who am I really? Only after we answer that can we understand our needs and desires, and only that understanding can allow us get on with the serious business of what we are supposed to do with our life. Do this by asking yourself 3 questions. 1, what are you deeply passionate about? Discover what your unique gifts and talents are. What do you really want from life? Not what you have been told to want or what you believe you will get, but what you really, truly want. What do you enjoy doing? When have you been happiest at work or even at play? Number 2, what can you be the best in the world at? This isn't just what you are good at now, but what you can become the absolute best at with time, with practice, with improvement. 3, what drives your economic engine? In answering this, you take the first 2 questions and you match them with what the world needs today, what people pay for today, what the market will place a value on today. You need to understand the most important metric that will drive your financial success. How can you meet a need the world has and the world will pay you for, either as an employee, an entrepreneur, or what they now call a solopreneur? In 1999, the legendary management consultant Peter Drucker wrote a seminal work called Managing Yourself, written about how to survive in the new knowledge economy. In it, I have drawn out 3 further questions you can ask yourself to deepen this process practically. Number 1, what are my strengths? Amazingly, first and foremost, concentrate on your strengths. Put yourself where your strength can produce results. Number 2, how do I perform? This is especially important in Nigeria because people like to tell us that there is only one way to do something. So listen to these questions attentively. Amazingly few people know how they perform. In fact, most of you here do not even know that different people work and perform differently. And what does Joka mean by perform? It's about results. In other words, how do I achieve results? Think about these questions. How do you get things done? How do you learn? How do you focus? Do you perform well under stress? Do you work well in large teams? Do you work better at a small company or a large company? Are you a reader or are you a listener? Because if you're not a reader but you absorb information in other ways, do not let anybody make you feel inferior. Do you work best in the morning or at night? Find out what your strengths are and then build on them. Don't waste your time on skills you can't and don't need to be good at. Because it is easier to go from good to better than to go from bad to good. How do I perform is perhaps the most important question of your career. When you find out how best you perform, you will benefit from that for the rest of your life. It's important to know yourself on that level. You must find a combination of factors that make it possible for you to reach your full potential. The third question Peter Joka asks is, what are my values? To work in an organization, country, or sector whose value system is unacceptable or incompatible with your own condemns you to frustration and to non-performance. Ask yourself, what do you really believe in? How do you see the world? What will you say no to? What do you want to be known for internally and externally? After answering these questions above, you can add 2 more steps. Take baby steps in matching what you can do with what you are learning through experimentation, revision, and sustained action. That means you may get it wrong at first, but as you keep trying, you keep improving. Then embrace whatever situation arises, good or bad, and then pay close attention to it. That means even when things go wrong, don't panic. Instead, be curious and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I do with this? How can this help me grow? All of these are about knowing yourself deeply, because true personal power starts with this depth of insight into yourself and the world around you. If you understand yourself deeply and hold competence from that space, no matter what happens with the digital economy, you will never be replaced by a robot. Keep learning. Be a lifelong learner. Because overtaking is allowed, yes, but you need to have fuel in your car. Almost everyone in the current music industry most likely taught themselves via YouTube or other platforms like that. Almost any Nigerian undergraduate or graduate or dropout who is a coder certainly learned online, while others were busy complaining about NEPA and ASU strikes. I'm going to look for some trouble here. Even the old rule that you have to go to school to be educated, to gain skills, to understand systems and structure, it is already a lie. There are so many places to learn today in and out of the internet. Young people can learn more on Canva, Figma, Pinterest, Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare, Udacity, Adobe, Fiverr, Upwork, Old School Africa, HubSpot Academy, Twitter threads, Telegram groups, and podcasts of Stephen Bartlett with Chude, Lex Friedman, and Ali Abdal that they can learn in universities anywhere in the world. Take advantage of these abundant avenues, many of them free. Learn to write, learn to think, learn to lead, learn to empathize, and in that way, you are able to adapt to whatever disruptions and innovations happening in the world. The future belongs to the curious. A famous young influencer, when he started his career in 2020, asked me in an interview on LinkedIn, how have you always stayed relevant across 25 years of your career? I said to him, it hasn't been about looking for what makes me the most money. I said, life is always posing new questions and challenges, just like AI is today. Just ensure that your skills and your work respond to those questions and challenges. Once that is sorted and you are constantly improving and getting better, you remain relevant. It's really that simple. Stop debating about whether AI was made for Africans or not. You don't have time. Begin to use it aggressively because it is inevitable, and train it to work for us, to work for you. That is how you automatically learn new skills and find new opportunities. That is a formula that will never fail. C, build relationships that build you. Don't network. It's a scam. Build relationships. Don't waste your time trying to get the cards of every speaker who comes on stage today, if you really don't need them for where you are going. In any case, I can assure you that the fact that you get somebody's number doesn't mean that they will pick your call. Stop this whole business of, I beg, help me. Find the people you actually need for where you want to go and focus on those very few people. Build a real relationship with them. People who will stand with you even when you've done something foolish and tell you what you did wrong. Stop finding mentors. Start finding champions. People who know you so well or know your path so well that they see you even when others don't, but who won't lie to you when you make a mistake. People who truly care about you and your potential. The people you need for your success may be in your church or your mosque or your mother's office. I met my co-founder of 20 years, Adebola Williams, in an audience like this, where audience members at a TV show called Inside Out with Agatha. And during a break, we started talking to each other. And that relationship has led to multiple millions of dollars over 20 years. Shegu Johnson, who sang the popular Siakmawon, Bafi Siakmawon song, was on my show a few weeks ago. And he told me that the most important person in his life was the man who is now, I think, a commissioner in Ogun State, but who used to live in his area and buy akara from his mother. But at that time, this future commissioner didn't have money to pay for the akara. But in return for the akara, he saw Shegun's leadership potential and began to give him a series of books to read. At the time, Shegun said this was ridiculous. I want money, not books. But he says as he read each book, they gave him a clear vision and clear tools for the future he wanted to build. And those books are what have now made him the #1 band artist in the country. Some of you are so busy looking for one rich person or one CEO to have mercy on you that you miss the helper that is down your street. Change your perspective. What you need is a person that truly sees you, that believes in you, that can support you. That person can be your university roommate. That person can be your band member. That person can be the person in the church who talks to you after every service. That person can be your mom. D, take action. And this is the final point. Start small, but start. Creativity is not theory, it's motion. You don't need perfect lights or perfect conditions. You need courage and consistency. Innovate where you are. Being in Abakaliki or Abeokuta is no longer a disadvantage. Whether in entrepreneurship or employment, excellence now creates visibility. Internships, volunteering, side projects, monetizing your skills via digital platforms. Your social media page is now your CV. Your Instagram, your WhatsApp, your Telegram, your Tinder is now your pitch deck. Take the action that you can, even within what others think is a limitation. Whether it's living in a patriarchal society or living with disabilities. Don't let what you've been told limit your reality or imagination. Ask yourself, what can I do with what I have today? Thank God. With the digital economy, this is even more possible. Creator platforms, for instance, have created a deep well where any kind of content can find an audience. Because the gatekeepers have lost their power, you can find your audience and your customer directly. Your destiny is now in your hands. So, my dear people, start moving from where you are. Lagos and Nigeria can be chaotic, yes. But the beauty of the jungle is that there is abundance, and you can make up your own rules as you go along. This is one of the few cities where you can go from shooting a skit in Yaba on Monday to signing a brand deal in Lekki in the same week. This is one of the countries in the world where you can build your career from the scratch in spaces where no one else has, unlike in London or Berlin, where the systems are harder to reshape. So use your city as your studio. Volunteer, intern, take side projects. Turn your frustration into a portfolio. Turn it into content. Think like a brand with a story, with a mission, and an audience. The world will try to make you small. Don't shrink. Expand. When I was 15, I didn't know the world would change this much. I didn't know that one day you wouldn't need to beg to be seen, that you could just show up online and the world would see you. But here we are. So don't make the mistake that I made, waiting for validation from people who couldn't imagine your kind of future. This is your time. Be like Wizkid, who knew when it was time to leave his record label at the age of 24, to start his own when no one expected a 20-year-old to be so bold. But that year, I tweeted that he had made a wise decision because I could see the future clearly. Be like Douglas Kendison, who while working on Paystack saw an opportunity in the creative tech industry and left to start the multi-billion naira creator tech company called Seller. Be like Jay on Air, who in 2020 sent me a DM on Instagram asking to intern, and I said I would get back to him, and frankly forgot. But I encouraged him. And then he didn't wait for my permission. He started his own content and now has more followers than I have on all my platforms. Be like Odun Eweniyi and the other young Covenant University graduates who came together and built a couple of businesses that failed and then kept going until Piggyvest happened. Be like Julian Duru, who took a risk to join the business of his peers as a software engineer and went viral this year for retiring in his 30s after serving for 10 years at Money Point. Be like the young woman who just made hundreds of thousands of naira in Abuja last week, working for me as a personal content creator. Be like Hadiza Ango, the Arewa food creator who has built a major media business, remaining rooted in northern Nigeria, no need to move to Lagos. Be like my former assistant, Bolu Akindele, who had the audacity to quit school in Ilorin, despite what everybody told him, came to Lagos to build a career without a degree, and then got a scholarship to read the course he wanted at the Pan-Atlantic University, and is now the head of content at one of the biggest fintechs in Nigeria, rising incredibly fast in 3 years. You don't have to quit your job, but you have to quit playing small. Be humble, but be confident. Be thoughtful, but be audacious. Permit yourself even to be presumptuous. My people, don't wait anymore for anybody else's permission. Let this speech today be the last time you ask for or receive permission. Because overtaking is now what? Overtaking is now what? Overtaking is now what? Thank you, and God bless you.
What an inspiring, if you want to stand up, I think this keynote speech actually deserves a round of applause. Please, let's rise as we, sir, please, can you hold on? Let them, I want everybody to actually stand up, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Give me a moment, please. I'll tell you why. You know, people usually say that my generation, if I do say so myself, the Gen Zs, we have a very short span of attention. And I'd like for you to know that aside from everybody in this hall, we have a lot of people in the online audience. And while I was seated there, everybody, majorly, were taking down notes. This is something that my generation do not usually do. Yes, we're here to seek jobs, we're here for employment, but it is super, super inspiring to listen to you here today. Very clear, very concise, very particular to these people that are here. So please, with a grateful heart, let's give Chude a round of applause, a resounding one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. You can have your seats.